One hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Super Desperation Radio. I like that one.
Thank you,
I'm
DJ Professor K.
I was about to say, was that Jet Set Radio?
No, that's complete 100% Hell Pockets original.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's Jet Set Radio.
Yeah,
that's
probably. That's my daddy.
Just put a little gray in your hair and you can be that guy.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I don't want to derail the conversation already, but I'm still looking at this shirt and wondering how they plan to sell this and get away with it. And for $25, hell no.
Well, I got no opinion.
Yeah. Copyright infringement can be fun. But anyway, we have...
Nah, dude, it's pointing the wrong direction. That's how they got around it.
Oh my
We can
god.
bring that up at a later time.
Yeah, we will.
So, what's going on, everyone? How's everyone's weekend been, life been?
Well, I actually watched something this weekend, so I guess it was productive.
All right, that's good.
I have continually had 1 million people at my house since July started, so
Yeah, man, you're at a boarding
Really?
house.
I am.
Youth hostel. Is that right?
At this point in all of our lives, people aren't that young anymore, man. You might just have to call it a hostel.
Or in some cases, the old people's home.
Yeah.
Yeah, assisted living.
God.
I think that's what comes whenever I go to your place. Considering that I go cripple for a bit when I'm there. It's like,
Yeah, I was about to say, if he plays 2 hours of video games and all of a sudden can't use his entire right hand, so...
yes, it's a fun thing to watch.
I found out I'm going to get $109 from my insurance company
Excellent.
for estimated 1,500 loss.
Not as excellent.
Yeah.
But at least they're not gonna jack up your rates for taking them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess maybe it's because we're loyal customers or the way we got it, but I don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
Something is better than nothing,
Yeah.
hopefully. I say that.
Months later,
I'm insulted. Take the
months later,
check.
Tony's just like,
crumple it up.
man, I wish I didn't.
I'll just
have
crumple
that
it up and throw it back at him.
Yeah, spit in their face.
What if they tax you on that $109?
Be like, oh, cool, with this $109, I can go down to the shooting range, rent a gun, and buy a bullet. Kill myself.
Ah. Too soon. Too soon.
Oh my god.
So, yep, action-packed, fun-filled weekend for some of us.
Oh yeah, totally.
Sunny, beachy weather for others. I had fun this weekend. Played Breakers 98. Great weekend for me.
Yeah.
Had a smile on my face the whole time until my right hand arm died.
What?
And then it was still fun watching other people play, watching people learn Breakers, and watching Sanchez perform better than, I want to say, 98% of the people here in SoCal at 98. It was great.
98%.
98% better, and I'm not joking when I say that. I'm not making a bad pun. He plays better than, outside of Mr. KOF. Out of all the people I've seen here in recent history play 98, he's already better than most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got
I
the
mean-
stamp of approval.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, he has a just great command of fundamentals and how it should work. So,
That's true.
Plus he also kind of understands King of Fighters from 13, because obviously some stuff translates. And then other stuff is just silly.
But it
Between the
translates
two-
backwards.
I play Ralph.
Some of it does, yeah.
I mean, it's
Fancy,
more or less the
better.
same. Ain't it?
Yeah, speaking of that, so Alex, what do you think of Ralph 13 compared to Ralph 98?
Ralph 13 is butt.
Yeah, see,
Those
this
buttons,
is what I've been
man.
saying for like the past few years. I don't like this Ralph. I don't like him.
And he still
I
has
do.
some of the best buttons in that game.
He does,
Yeah.
but imagine how much more fun they'd be where it's like, oh, look at this chin. He's just standing there. Now he's crouching. Guess what? Stan C's still going to smack that drink out of your mouth. Like, all the characters that I play in 98 that, like, translate from other games just feel a bit more satisfying. Ralph especially.
Mhm.
Who else do you play?
In my team in 98 is Hydern, Keo, and Ralph.
Yeah, that's good.
And Hydern is sorely missed.
Hydern
Yeah.
is so bad, though.
Such an
God.
annoying
Well-
freaking character.
Isn't he really, really, really good in O2UM?
Yes, ridiculous.
I still like his 2K1 version the best. No charges? Shit, yeah. Top tier?
Oh,
Yeah.
you best believe it, buddy.
Dude, it's all about whiffing a moon slasher just to glitch damage on other specials. It's like, son, you don't want to get hit by the Stormbringer anymore.
Yeah.
Now it does a lot of damage.
Oh, man.
Give me back some of that health.
Hyder
I
wants
only
to step
loaned it
in
to
them
you.
guts.
Nah, dude, the weak freaking neck slicers. Ugh.
Yeah.
I hated that so much. Like the first couple weeks I played UM.
Dude, how cool was it the CD attack that he just points at you?
Yeah. No.
Look
he
over
points
there.
to the sky.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? This is going to be a reference to Mortal Kombat 1, Reptile.
No, dude.
Look
He's gonna
to
freaking-
Luna.
He's gonna hit some home runs, man. He's calling them.
Oh, yeah.
He's the babe.
The great Bambino.
Oh my god.
I say that for certain reasons, Tony.
And Breakers is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
to Pick up.
So this was your first time ever playing Breakers, right, Paul?
Yeah.
What did you think of it overall?
I mean, it feels a lot like ST in terms of the way you have to use your buttons, the way footsies work, and the way you have to sort of rock, scissors, paper certain situations until you know what beats what at what distance. It's really intuitive if you play old games like ST. I can't imagine people now going back and trying to learn it because it would feel really awkward, I think. Though Wake Up Super is really good, so you might get some SF4 players.
Yeah.
Wake Up Supers are tight in that game.
It's so
Yo, pick
good.
Maharo.
Breakers.
I got 3 wishes for you, bruh.
Free. No, like free wake up option. Be like, yeah. No Oki tonight. No Oki today. I don't feel like it.
Yep.
The thing I feel about Breakers that I really enjoy is the fact that there's a little something for everybody from every community, more or less, in that game as well. So,
Well,
I mean,
they said
something that.
before- Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, from, you have supers, but you have 3 supers, but, there's certain situations. Normals actually have a really good command on what you're actually supposed to do, People generally have options to get around things and, have strengths in other areas. It's just, I think it's a good balance of how the game played out.
And I think the thing about Breakers that I like is that normal punishes just feel rewarding. Like you hit somebody with a standing button in that game, and you're like, that was damage that actually adds up to something.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of new games, you hit somebody with a standing button, and it's like maybe 10% of their life. In that game, some of those moves do 20, 25. You hit with like standing C. So,
Mhm.
and if you hit a combo, it's like, oh god, 30% or more of my life is gone.
Then it gets kind of stupid.
It's Show's a ridiculous character, but I feel like the game's still a lot of fun to play.
I feel like Show isn't just ridiculous for he's too good. It's more like he's just not bad.
Yeah, well, I
He's
feel
like
like
what every character should be. It's like, do you
Yeah.
have every option you'd ever need?
it also feels like his overhead is easily the best in the game.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, like, you just have to guess. You can just sit there. I'm gonna just do crouch B, and then maybe eventually I'm just gonna do an overhead. And I hope you guessed right, or I just did an ass ton of damage.
I also like how you can combo after that, but at the same time, it's like, in some games where, like, if you sweep Fireball, it's like you're covering 2 spaces, and if you hit the knockdown, like, well, that's cool, you get some Oki. In this game, certain supers can be comboed off of a sweep, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I honestly don't feel like I play Alcyon, who's apparently the worst character in the game. I don't feel like there's anybody who totally destroys him because of he actually has really good hitboxes on his normals.
Mhm.
But I feel like you're gonna get rushed down, so you better be ready to block. Yes, a lot.
A lot of his specials just have too much recovery, or, yeah.
Yeah, you can't poke with his his specials at all.
Yeah.
The poison breath is really good at a certain distance until you become predictable with it, and then your opponent just jumps and beats your ass. Like, oh, I'm sorry, but I guess you were gonna fireball, and now you're dead.
I guess you're going to Fireball because you're either going to throw out a normal or do this because you're not going to use any of your other moves.
But he gets combo into Fireball for a knockdown, which is really good for him. His overheads are actually usable, even if they are slow. And his supers are actually pretty good. And he has a really, really weak version of claw wall dive stuff, but I don't even think it's that good. I think you just get people because they try to predict which side you're going to end up on, and then they just get zapped.
Hey, that's a good mix-up.
It's not that good a mix-up. You can pretty much read it every time.
Yeah, after a while I was showing you how to, like with Ryla, she could beat it all the time. She just has to wait a bit.
She just beats it by just hitting a button, either side, though. She's one of the only characters who has something like that. Because it's just the hitbox of that move. So
yeah, she's got like 98 Kyo, 98 Iori, stance C. Close stance C, I should say. It's great. Alex, what about you? What'd you think of Breakers?
It was really fun. I really like Maharl. I just like, giving people their wishes. Seems like everybody wished for pain.
Kadabura.
the most hilarious thing about that Genie Super is that it seriously hits about half a character behind him. So I jumped it, and I thought I was safe. And then the Genie came up, and I was like, well...
Did you take more damage than you would have just getting hit in the front? It's
I think
it
might actually take a look, because it might actually have a couple hits at the very beginning and then just drag you across the screen.
Yeah, there's like extra ones to get. There's definitely one too where Gibby did wake up Ryla Super, the tiger that does like a nightcrawler spin all over the place.
Yeah.
I got hit out of it, but then the Genie hit the backswing of that tiger. Everybody gets their wish.
That's the thing. Like, Maharl is invincible, but like at some angles you can still knock him out of the Genie Super.
If he's invincible, it's like for 2 frames.
Yeah.
Don't care, man.
Yeah, it's so much hitbox and priority. Just like, hey,
Genie's just like, somebody rubbed me the right way.
Yeah. Basically, Kadabura's like, you know what? I'm going to take care of my master. He rubs me the right way. That's what happens.
So that was most of what we did over the weekend. And then today I went out and I actually found a copy of the Sunsoft collection for PS2. So consider running Waku Waku 7 at some point, even though I've heard that game is complete trash.
Hey, look.
I'm just upset I can't play as Fernandez, okay?
You can play as him in the console version.
He's not legal, though.
Well, I mean, how many tournaments you see? I mean, we'll make him legal for one.
Waku Waku 7.
We'll make him legal for one.
Upswing.
And you're just going to press down button, and then you're going to win. And it doesn't matter which button you press either. Just push down twice and push one button. But at the same time, I got to learn all the infinites on you.
Does every character have an infinite in that game?
On Fernandez, pretty much.
Oh,
I mean, for the most part. Just because he's so huge. Otherwise, no. But some characters are just ridiculously strong when they hit you anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I love that game.
It's really fun going back and playing these games that nobody plays anymore, or that came out and were popular in like certain sects of the country. I was talking to Nerd Josh, and he was saying that apparently New York actually had a pretty big Rumblefish scene when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously large parts of the country never got it. The second one never got a console release at all, so the game has sort of vanished into the mist. And I know Ohio was really big on Rumblefish for a while. The first one, I don't know if they played the second one. But that was back when Ohio would just play. They played Guilty Gear, and then apparently they got into Rumblefish. Really random, but
that game's tight.
Isn't it out on the Nessica system now?
Yeah. It's a slightly rebalanced version, if I remember correctly.
Alex, you and Nock played Rumblefish 2 for like what seemed to be 3-4 hours straight.
Yep.
What'd you think?
It's really fun. The only problem is that there isn't like a comprehensive move list online anywhere. And that character is notorious for a bunch of characters having like really weird or super situational supers or moves. But the engine itself is really fun. The fact that you could see where a lot of the ideas from other games came about, like the whole boost thing from HNK, also the banishing or unblockable strike from HNK or in Rumblefish. And I think Rumblefish came out bit before that game.
Probably the first one did. I don't know about the second one.
Well, the first one definitely did. I think the second one was the same year, so it might have been a few months earlier, if anything. So it might have been like co-developed, like just at the same time. They was like, hey, you know what? Let's just try this in this game and see how it works.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have like defensive meters and offensive ones, and how there's no real comeback mechanic.
Oh,
The only thing that's
question.
kind of obnoxious about that game is like guard breaks are really easy.
How do you get defensive meter? Because I've seen some tournament videos where people's offense gauge goes up, but the defensive meter actually go up via defensing.
Yeah, you get it for blocking, but it also just builds up over time.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of how like a burst would work, where it just builds up as you're just standing there at a very slow rate, and then certain actions make it go up more. So blocking, I think, makes it go up more, and I think getting hit makes it go up a bit more. But all the defensive supers are super situational or really expensive. Like they might cost 2 of the meters, and you only get 3.
And then what about when you have both of them maxed out? Doesn't that like a...
It gives you what is basically a level 6 super. For the most part, they're insanely strong. I think Orville, who's the grappler, his level 6 does something like... it's a 2 life bar game, so it does like a life bar and a half. Yeah, it does some
like-
ridiculous amount.
That's like some Last Blade 2 damage.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, did I get you with the level 6? Good game.
Yeah, watching
I mean-
you guys play, you were playing Mita, right?
Mito is a character that I learned when the game was at FFA.
Yeah.
And the reason I picked her up is, well, she's like the one character I play that breaks my motif of really big blonde white guys. So it's like, you know, a little cute girl with a kendo stick and an eye patch. The reason I picked her up is that she has really easy confirms. So it's like, hey, 1, 2, 3, multi-hitting normal. That goes into multi-hitting special. Hey, do I have super meter? All right. And super.
Yeah, I also noticed she has Soul Satellite. Or
Yeah, she has the original Soul Satellite, or Kawaii Boros, as we might call it. Where she just summons.
Boros. Wow.
She
That's
just
amazing.
summons 2 gigantic hearts and just beats you down with them.
Wow.
It's a really fun game, and I'm hoping that like the whole Nessica thing makes it available on PSN or some.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would assume since it got a NESCA release, it'll probably get like a Japanese PSN release. So
Yeah, like if
Well-
Rumblefish 2 ever pops up, I'm in there.
Well, did they put that the second Psychic Force on PSN?
I have no idea.
I need to check that
I-
out.
I know that there was a re-release at some point.
Yeah, and that's
You're talking about Psychic Force 2012, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I did get a new Nessica release. I'm not sure if it's on the PSN. But, you know, also when you think about it, Nessica architecture is still Taito Type X boards, which is, you know, Windows XP.
Right.
And then when you think about it, PS4 and Xbox One are just computers. So maybe the architecture will be so similar to a point that
Yeah.
it'll just be easy to port to newer consoles.
Well,
Then
we
you can
know
have your
there's-
Nessica service subscription on your next-gen console. I don't know.
Oh, that's never gonna happen.
Dude,
That
in a
would
perfect
Yeah.
world, totally.
Look,
but, like,
let me dream. Let me dream.
Look who we're working with over here. You know, these
The
guys.
dream
can't
is
come
already
together
dead.
and Sega has their own version of Nessica that are like pretty much just serving the purpose
all
of
net.
taking money from Taito.
Well,
Mm.
it's basically. It looks like most game companies are going to start coming up with their own versions of Nesca. Sega has AllNet. Somebody else has something different too. I think Konami might have their own thing as well. I think they have had it for all the Bomani stuff connecting to the internet.
Right.
So,
I wonder what that machine looks like. Does it just have everything attached to it?
well, no, what it is all the different games from 2DX to DDR actually they connect to Japanese servers now, but they're
Oh.
individual. It's interesting.
And this is for the
I'm not
purpose
sure
of
exactly
updates, I
their stuff
imagine.
works.
Or leaderboards, perhaps.
Yeah, and I mean they've done that for years.
Yeah.
The online leaderboards and stuff like that. But meanwhile, while we were playing poverty games, VXG happened.
Oh yes.
Man, do we have to? Now we
Man.
go back to talking
It
about
happened.
Rumblefish.
And none of us
It can't
watched it.
unhappen.
No, I actually watched it, and like I had the same attitude you guys had going into it, where I was just like, you know, do I really want to do this? And then I looked outside, and it was kind of raining, and I was like, well, either go catch a cold or watch VXG. And, I didn't feel like putting my shoes on, so I watched VXG. And I came in on the second day because honestly, I didn't know what the hell was happening. The first, I guess, quote unquote, 2 days of action, like nobody was talking about it. By the time I had finally found the link to the streams, it was already over. And for the most part, I had no idea what was happening. But I came in on the middle of like I think was maybe some semifinals for Marvel, maybe. I don't know. It wasn't too clear. And that was a pretty forgettable day anyway. Other than the fact that somebody was commentating with Jessica Nagiri, which was I guess the biggest thing to take away from Saturday. Then of course caught Sunday finals, and I will give it this: the AE finals were pretty interesting. I actually kind of liked it, even though it was like
Who was finals?
It was PR Balrog versus Dominion.
Oh, okay.
And Rog took it from losers with Rog against Diamond's Guile, and the people were commenting like how you never see like OG Street Fighter 2 player characters in grand finals for AE 2012, and I mean I wouldn't know, I don't watch AE that much, but if it's true then that's pretty cool.
I like that. I don't watch AE, but I mean it seemed really interesting.
I'm starting to get interested in it again because I want to try Ultra, and so I'm going to try to watch as much as I can and maybe learn some stuff from Proxy. And NorCal thankfully still has some.
Wait, you're going to actually try to study the game because you want to play it in the future? That, my God, man, it sounds like you actually want to take a game seriously.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Hey, I know we've been seeing each other for some time off and on, but I think it's time we go steady. Here's a patch.
Well, it's one of the few, aka 2 games that are alive in NorCal anyway.
Yeah,
So
I definitely have my pick of the litter of who to play with AE.
That's true. Yeah, you have a lot of really good players for Street Fighter.
Totally.
And you can also play against Harrison. I mean, it's good against playing against people that suck.
Oh man.
Wow.
Wow. And the show sucks.
Jabs in.
it ain't just the show that sucks around these spots.
They should change the name to the show that stinks.
But
Oh man, but like overall, like I kind of like the AE finals kind of saved it for me because for real, I was just not really feeling this whole thing. It just seemed like I didn't see any KOF at all. I don't even know if that was ever on stream. It might have been on a Bifu stream, which I didn't even catch because in true Bifu fashion, stuff was going awry, and every time I checked in on it anyway, like offhand, it was like nothing but injustice, and that's your game, Paul.
The
did
best
you
laid
just slap
plans.
that up like that's your people? Just
That's your folks.
Hey, that's your boy.
But then,
was like
of
that,
course,
Chris. All right.
I
I'll take it.
managed to catch Marvel, and I don't play Marvel, but I watch Marvel because it's like it's like watching WWE, and you see Chris Cena come up in there and do what he normally does. Except he managed to channel a I guess we all thought he was done doing this, but apparently for some reason, I don't know who told him to do this, but Chris G did not play his real team in grand finals.
And then
Against like who was he playing against? I think it was
Who's
Walker?
Flocker. And that was surprising. Flocker didn't play his real team either.
No, it didn't look like either of them cared, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
there was a lot of feedback, and feedback is putting that loosely on the way they behaved. And I think it's pretty sad that that's what people are going to walk away from VXG with. Not the fact that an entire day of prize fights were canceled, that Smash Brothers apparently had its pop bonus canceled, that we had an entire, I don't know how long segment of people talking shit that a woman would actually be on chat talking about a game when she was invited to be there in the first place. Schedules that seem to fluctuate. I think the list kind of goes on.
right. And I'm gonna address the whole pot splitting thing first. Like first of all, like because I already told you before, like obviously if you're gonna pot split, you should at least put out the match and make it look real and give everybody a show because that's why they're watching. They're not watching you to fucking make the TOs look bad. And really, the TOs were already doing a fine job of that themselves. You didn't really need to help them out with that. Who you really hurt were the people who, came down there to run the event, Guys like Hans, who, he works for Capcom now, and Capcom made Marvel, so they're going to stream all the Marvel and the AE matches. And the guy's working his ass off for you, and then you basically just clutter up his stream with garbage. I don't even know if you can look the man in the face after that. I don't know how these guys even show up to other tournaments after they do shit like this, because it's, I would be too afraid of getting kicked in the balls.
There's nothing that prevents them from doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right in that, yeah, it's a little embarrassing when you have two guys who are some of the, probably, I'd say, top 5 Marvel 3 players in the nation right now, and they're jacking around in grand finals.
Yeah.
Because it's a joke to them.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can't say what they were joking about, whether they just, were tired, whether they felt like the event wasn't worth their time, whether they felt like playing grand finals wasn't worth their time. I don't know. But they were just having a good laugh about it.
Yeah, but they're gonna be laughing when somebody gonna be holding back the money, That's when they're all like, "Oh man, VXG don't be paying out. They holding back pot bonuses."
They haven't really done that yet.
But people, that's what I'm saying. That's when they get mad, though. It's like whenever something goes wrong with the money, then all of a sudden they're like,
Well, that's because the money is what's promised up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no promise for behavior.
I guess there shouldn't be, yeah.
Well, no, it's not about whether there should be or shouldn't be. I'm just saying that's a fact.
Yeah.
There's no promises. There are no rules on player behavior. And we've talked about this before, that there is no governing body, there is no policing effort to ensure that players don't throw matches.
No,
So what is to stop them from doing it? Yes, that they should in many cases, and honestly, we've been playing competitive games for over a decade. There's a lot more pot splitting that we don't see than we do. Most of the time, people play it out anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. So, but there is at this point no reason for them to care one way or the other.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks, and I can see how that pisses people off, and I can see how some people may walk away from VXG just with that, even though there was way more things wrong with this event than just that sandbagging between Chris G and Flocker. We'll get into that in a second, but I just wanted to say, I can kind of see where people are coming from, where they're angry about that. I kind of feel like they should be angry about other things, but.
Well, I think there is some justification in the anger from a viewer standpoint.
Right.
You're watching something. You expect to be entertained, and when viewers aren't entertained, it reflects badly on whoever's running it. In this case, it reflects badly on Capcom indirectly.
Yeah.
Because they were running the stream, and it makes them look bad. It makes Hans look bad, and that's not fair to him because he was just doing his job.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's like one of the coolest guys in the scene, so you wouldn't want this shit on him. So they literally just weren't thinking about who they were affecting with their actions. They probably only thought, "Oh, we'll get a slap on our wrist from our sponsors, and somebody's gonna leave some angry tweets at us." But other than that, nobody's gonna give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say they didn't even think about that. They just said, "Hey, I want a pot split." Sure, that's it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's how it usually goes. It's not like one of those things where I'm gonna put a lot of thought in it. It's like, no, we just ask this guy, "Hey, you want to split the pot?" Sure.
Well, and but that kind of falls into the problems that the fighting game community has anyways, that nobody thinks about shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thinks about what they say and what they do and how it affects other people. And we've kind of talked about this before, is that there isn't a lot of thought to other people's well-being at all going on here. I mean, VXG is just a nice summation of it. You're going to invite people to a tournament with promises, and some of them are not going to be fulfilled for whatever reason. That looks badly on you.
Mm.
But people just want to walk that off. I mean, we've had, honestly, in the past year, there has been more conversation about punishing Chris G for his behavior than punishing tournament promoters who don't have their tournaments run on time, don't pay out, don't have fulfilled promises. I mean, there's been a lot of this in the last 5 years since Street Fighter 4 came out. Devastation hasn't paid people on time. John Nelson didn't pay people on time. These are things that happened. And these events ran multiple times before people said anything about it. But we're talking about two guys pot splitting?
Right.
And how they need to be punished? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And it's probably because it's the most current and, like, obviously the most glaring issue with what happened. And, you know, it drew all the attention, basically, you know? It almost drew the attention away from the fact that this entire weekend has been kind of slapped together seemingly at the last minute. Because I honestly don't know if these people even had any experience running a tournament. You know?
Well,
but that's
they
the
ran
thing
a
is
VXG last year. It was a completely different event from what I gather. But they did have one last year. And they had some other tournament organizers help run this tournament. So there are people with experience. Not everyone was solid, but from what I'm told, Biggie and Jim Blanca came in and actually helped make things run smooth.
Yeah, and I saw those guys, and, you know, big ups to them for that. But, you know, they couldn't save the whole show.
Well, of course not. But, I mean, yeah, I think Gibby's point was there were experienced tournament organizers there to help run the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously we had players who couldn't get to VXG for whatever reason. You know, obviously the European players were documented, you know, their problems with it. There were other people who won qualifiers who haven't been talked about who didn't go for whatever reason. Some of the guys out here in SoCal who were supposed to go won the cross-counter qualifiers didn't go. I don't know why.
Wow.
I'm going to
And-
say it was ghosts.
Mhm.
It's the only reasonable explanation. Yeah, it was a plane full of ghost snakes. Just didn't know what to do with it.
They sabotaged the instruments.
And the biggest issue is that there's no transparency anywhere. We're not going to know if VXG pays out until somebody says they have. On Twitter, maybe, at best. There's going to be no comments from VXG, probably. And this is normal for tournaments. People don't talk about getting paid, unless they're not paid. And then people are really loud about it. But then even some people don't even talk about when they aren't. I mean, you always hear stories about, oh, this player didn't get paid at this tournament, and you ask, well, why didn't he say anything? Oh, I don't know, he just didn't. And it's like, who knows if that's real or not? We can't tell.
Right.
There's so many things that are on the down low or in shadows that no one can ever really know. So why are we talking about bigger transparency when it comes to playing the game on a stage when we can't even have transparency in the organization of tournaments? Like, what they did is a symptom of a greater problem. Fix the problem.
Right.
Then we can fix the symptom. Like, they'll go away.
Well, we would hope they would go away. When we would hope that, you know, once, let's say there was some forward movement in solving these problems, that people would actually come together on it. I mean, I'd hate to think that there was somebody who actually thinks that in the long run they'll benefit from running really crappy, you know, tournaments.
I would hope not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure those guys didn't mean to do it like this. That's what I'll say. If VXG set out to run a horrible tournament from the get-go, then, you know, congratulations, they did it. But I have a hard time believing that this was, you know, on purpose.
Exactly.
And so I don't think people should give them too much shit for that. I think they should.
No, I don't think that in any way, shape, or form VXG really set out to do anything but be the best tournament it could be.
Right.
And I think that would be, you know, a pretty big lie if I stood here and was like, no, VXG planned on screwing people over. They didn't plan on giving. I don't think that's fair. And I don't think anybody wants to be painted with that brush, because obviously these are trying to become yearly events.
Right.
But sometimes you make promises you can't keep. And knowing that ahead of time would be nice.
Right, you just got to be smarter about it. And that's why I would say that's probably part of the reason why they're probably not punishing TOs that screw up that badly, because they're just like, they don't know what the hell they're doing, and we're not going to really work with them anyway. You know, like you said, we have no governing body outside of like Road to Evo, which is pretty loose.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's a confederation at best.
yeah, and so I just feel like they already kind of halfway do this by not including certain events in their circle.
Mhm.
You know, like if you're gonna do it, you're gonna basically do everything on your own, is what they're telling them. That's almost the punishment itself, I guess.
Yeah.
If we did have a governing body, and then like somebody like John Nelson came in there and then screwed up as bad as he did last time, then it's like put him in the fryer.
But people need to be put in the fryer a lot sooner.
That's true.
Because I understand second chances. Everybody makes a mistake, especially if it's a small one. Especially, if it's crunching numbers wrong. But, entire days of tournaments vanishing,
Yeah.
not really a good look.
And learn something from the mistake. That's what I would hope for.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to learn from this last weekend than just don't split pots. It looks bad. Because I think to me that's the smallest thing we can walk away with.
Yeah.
You know what irks me is the fact that there was a thread on SRK a while ago, back when it was worth visiting, that had a list of tournament organizers and events to avoid. And it would just be added there when people would have like a bad experience. And you would say, oh, John Nelson fucked us over. We went to the Hacks hangar and it was really crappy. Here's what happened. Here's numerous people reiterating that fact. And it would be added there. So people would know if they went to the tournament section there and be like, oh, what upturning tournaments are there? There's a thread for this one. Let me check this sticky at the very top with a big red arrow that says, hey, this guy's the sleaze. That just doesn't get updated. And it hasn't been updated since... actually, it looks like since John Nelson.
Yeah, the one on Tekken's Zaibatsu last got updated about Devastation, I believe. That was the last big update I saw.
Every tournament
Yeah.
since then has been great.
They've all been fantastic. Dancing Fighter G has held up his end of the bargain countless times.
If I remember right, Planet Zero was on that list.
Yeah, Planet
Oh,
Zero's
they
on there.
should have
Actually,
been on that list.
I brought it on there right now. There's Planet Zero, Blanca 707 in NorCal. I can't say anything. I know anything about that. Todd Green in
man.
VSA in Florida. Koopa 1981 in Texas. GXP Gaming. These are all in the seem to be Florida or New York. Beyond the rest of these. But the other problem is that people don't listen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, people know things and do nothing about it.
yeah. And this past Revelations was proof of that.
Yeah, it's like how many people were warned about, like, hey man, John Nelson, might not be on the up and up. Things were shady at the last one. This one doesn't look like it's going to get any better. But it's like, we're going to give him another chance, man.
Yeah.
Everybody. That's why pencils have 2 erasers.
Mhm.
That's how they work, right?
Erasing some of them zeros on that check.
Yeah.
So
That's why God invented whiteout.
And the worst part is you get people being foolish, dragging other people into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of happened all weekend. People acting foolish, and then a bunch of fucking lemmings just jumping in on it. And I honestly don't think they really knew what they were saying or doing. Because I guess for like my faith in humanity, would tell me people just can't be this shitty, Like
You have
people,
too much faith in humanity. it seems.
I do, and I'm gonna keep it until I'm probably dead or I get Zimmerman or some shit,
Yeah.
Wow,
Alright.
man.
All right.
Like
Topical.
topical, very topical. Like this is gonna be a shift in gears a little bit, but like Stream Chat has been it's had a history of being not the best place for some opinions to be expressed, especially honest opinions or well thought out opinions, or even thought out at all. This weekend just added another notch to that belt of knuckle dragging nonsense that I honestly couldn't even watch after a while, because at first I was like, oh, these guys are so fucking cheeky, so you stream monsters, and then it just got fucking weird. because the people on stream kind of started getting in on it, and they started maybe.
It's creepy.
Yeah,
It's fucking creepy, is what it is.
Yeah, man. Like it's just really uncomfortable to watch. And I won't talk too much about it because I have some personal feelings on the matter, and I don't want to turn it into that. But for the most part, that's one of the reasons why you don't let the commentators read stream chat, especially on the stream.
At this point, it's getting to the point where you might as well just ban stream chat.
Yeah.
Or, subscriber it up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
what
noticed.
Spooky does now.
I've noticed subscriber-only chat is a lot better.
Like you still have people with the whole capo Spooky Please, but they just use like silly memes. That for the most part, they're more.
Yeah, if people want to just joke around and be silly, that's totally within people's rights, and it doesn't bother me at all. It's when people get really offensive and start dropping slurs left and right that I'm good. I'm good. I'm done.
If you want to talk like that, then you can take it to the well-known poverty chat, so that nobody has to see you when they're trying to watch.
I prefer that you don't say it.
Well, yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like, if there was a subscriber-only option, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
if you want to be really stupid and just say whatever the hell you want because you think that you're not responsible for it. And I mean, think about it this way. It's like, you can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, when you look back on what you've said, is that what you really meant or wanted to say? You think there's no repercussions at all for any of that?
Yeah.
It's not going to translate into your life because, I mean, these are things that you've said.
No, it's completely. People don't want to be held responsible. That's why everybody has like EMP Kappa face names, is because they think they can just hide behind it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you want to
not ever have to actually own up for having that.
Well, then this other thing is that stream chat is vaguely anonymous and pretty much ephemeral, so none of this is documented ever. So you can get away with saying the foulest shit you want, which doesn't mean you should do it.
Yep.
Like,
You
get
can
a
get
swear
banned
jar,
and then just-
man. Start a fucking swear jar.
It's like for every
You can get-
stupid joke you want to make on stream, just drop a quarter into a can next to your desk. Don't do it. And just next thing you know, treat yourself to a steak.
Or buy a personality or some shit. I don't know.
Look into a CD, This is, think about everything that you're going to say that's bad in a year.
You're going to invest with the swear jar money?
Yeah.
Just go talk to
You're
Merrill
like
Lynch.
smarter
Open up like a
people, man.
401k.
You can buy some Google stock. I heard they're on the way back up.
And that's what being a stream maverick's all about.
Exactly.
Come on, people.
It's like, oh, sir, I hear you want to open up your own 401k. Is there a special name you want to give the account? It's like, I'll name it Kappas and have a monthly reduction from my other savings of $8.95. Whoa!
Just get out.
Speaking of which, so many $8.95 donations on the summer games done quick. Like, that's cool. You're donating, that's fine. But come on, the joke can only live for so long. Please.
We just revived that for another 2 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that's what just happened. But
It's never going anywhere.
people want to always discuss, well, that's just part of the internet. It's not going to go away. Well, it's got to start somewhere. So if you stop doing it, maybe tell somebody else to stop doing it. Maybe more people will stop doing it.
Well,
If
that
you
was a
just
weird
say,
thing.
hey, that's kind of fucked up. Maybe you should stop doing it.
I saw people there's always a couple people in the chat that are just gonna rail for the person that's being harassed, and obviously they get swallowed up in a sea of nonsense. But I mean, I guess there's got to be a way that you can get through to them. Like, obviously we do our best on this show to say, hey, don't be a douchebag, And like Alex said earlier, people don't listen. They'd rather just, say, I'd rather just let the rock this till the wheels fall off, or I get thrown in jail for harassing somebody from proxy, because that is a crime.
Yep.
You can go to jail for that.
Well, I suppose I could put out the fire to this building, or I could just throw more books and matches into it and see what happens.
Exactly. What's it gonna hurt? It's already on fire, right?
Yeah.
And these cats can't behave themselves, so what do? You put, you dangle the meat right in front of them, man, literally.
So what do? You actually go to the event because they're not going to be there ever, and their opinion shouldn't matter because you know that they wouldn't conduct themselves that way in real life, and in the event that they would, they're probably going to get laid out.
Yeah, they would get so flattened.
And even in my experience, not even physically, people said stuff. I've said stuff to people in the last 5 months. Just that's not cool.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a really fucked up thing to say, you know. So don't do it. And you
it's
get
just like-
static from people.
Yeah, because then you're messing with their good times. Like, hey, man, I ain't bothering you with, talking about that girl's tatas. Why you mad? White Knight.
So, it's an interesting case where you have
God.
people that are receptive to it and are willing to listen to your point of view and perhaps come to an understanding and then change their own personal way that they conduct themselves. Like they stop using slurs, they stop saying really foul things that they shouldn't be saying to begin with. You have some people that are going to be a bit combative about it, and maybe they'll come around once they, give it some thought. Then you have some jagoffs that are really, really dead set on, you know what, man? Why are you're choosing to be offended? It's like, that's the stupidest argument ever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, why
That's
can't
like
you
saying,
just turn-
that's, what the equivalent is to that? It's like, I would just deck them in the throat, in the balls, and ask them, hey man, why are you choosing to feel pain, huh?
Stop crying.
That's
Stop
not you.
crying.
Stop crying. Walk it off.
The second someone calls me a white knight, I'm going to look at them as they adjust their fingerless gloves, take their fedora off their head, and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate anyone that would dare call me a white knight, because if anything, I'm white, non-Hispanic knight.
Oh, you're docking.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
it's really sad that if you tell people to stop being a piece of shit, they just like, oh, you're just being oversensitive. It's like, what? That's a thing now? You can actually be too sensitive to other people.
oh man, you went
Damn.
for too much political correctness, man. Can't have no fun at the expense of other people anymore. I thought this was America.
So I went to the dentist and asked for some anesthetic, and they said, "What? Are you too sensitive? You can't just take a root canal? Come on, dude."
Oh my god! It didn't. Like I said, it didn't help the fact that there were people on the stream that were just kind of like feeding these people more nonsense to work with.
There's always something like that. Obviously we've gotten to a point where you can. I mean, radio's done it for decades, feeding the trolls. In other words,
Totally.
shock jocks. Yep, I can't talk.
Shock
Shock
dogs.
jocks. Do the same thing. It's just what's the worst shit that I can get away with?
Mhm.
So people think it's always acceptable, and it's not. Just because a certain percentage of humanity wants to be pieces of shit doesn't mean you got to follow their lead or think it's okay. It's not okay.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna push the envelope until someone shoves it down my throat.
Yeah, exactly.
And what this does, it does take away from somebody like Jessica came out there because she got paid to come out there, and then they let her on commentary, and I'm not a mind reader, so I can't tell if she was genuinely interested in what was happening or if she was just playing the role. But I can imagine if I was her and I saw that stuff going on, and I would just be like, man, what the fuck is like? It's funny to a point, and then it's like for real, guys, like let's get back to what's happening here. What's going on? You guys seem kind of distracted. Everybody okay? And then I'd cover my cleavage up.
Well, at least she had a reason to be out there. There was a cosplay competition. She was one of the judges.
Right.
So
Yeah.
people who were like, "Why is she out there? It's such a waste of money when somebody else could have been out there instead." It's like, no, that's a legitimate reason.
Should have gave that money for Serlin to show up. Come on, think about how much he could have done.
I mean, honestly,
He could have
if we're gonna
rebalanced
be-
the brackets.
If we're gonna be real, somebody could have taken that dude Doom's ticket money, dropped him in the ocean, and flew an actual player in.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
you douche.
but
Like I get that Max the personality, but Doom is really just there was no point in being there.
a gimmick.
Yeah, gimmick goes. Yeah, gimmick works.
I mean, he's basically
Um,
Clarkinator, except he walks around.
And that's
Gotta
really
cost-
horrible when you put it that way.
Yeah, that's what he is,
Yeah.
man.
Because Clarkinator's pretty goddamn terrible.
He's a Clarkinator
Yeah.
automaton.
Yeah, but there, I mean, people are complaining that she was out there. It's like, oh, there's no point in bringing her out there. Waste of money. She doesn't deserve to be out there, and all this other crap. And why doesn't she deserve to be out there? Why do other people deserve to be out there? There were people there who weren't even playing, didn't do anything.
Why wasn't I out there despite not wanting to go and was not invited?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if you had said something, they would have invited you. You'd still have to pay
I
your own way
doubt
there.
that. Oh,
I
no.
got invited, and I was like, okay, so who's got my plane ticket? And they're like, oh, we can give you a half price with this promo code. I'm like, yeah, you scumbags. Of course, I
See,
had to talk
that's
some
how
shit
you
first.
know they're inviting people with no worth. Chris got an invite.
All I had to do was say, I think this tournament is bullshit. And like, hey, why don't you come out here and say it to our face? That sounds like an invitation.
You could get half off on your flight. VXG Hell Pockets. You know, promo code.
Never that.
Yeah, from what I saw, just like overall with the tournament was iffy. A lot of stuff that happened at the actual tournament itself was pretty. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't terrible.
Okay.
But basically, everything they advertised in terms of the beach, everyone seemed to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, no, it seems like
They all had fun.
that's not to take anything away from St. Martin. The place looks beautiful. All the pictures I saw, if you actually plan on taking any kind of vacation in that area, that place looks awesome.
It's still though, wasn't it advertised to be better than Evo and
Was
all
it?
these other?
Is there actually documentation of them saying that?
I mean, if I looked for it now, it'd probably be deleted. So
There would
I-
probably be only
Never
4
the
tweets on the
advertisements.
VXG account.
Yeah, what I do. Okay, I specifically remember them saying it'll be more fun than Evo. I don't remember them saying better than Evo. I mean, it's very possible that they did say better than Evo, and I didn't catch it, and that it could have been a race or whatever. I don't know, but I know they did say it's going to be more fun than Evo. Which, I mean, that's just up to the person. I mean, is going to a beach and hanging out in the sun all day better than being in a crowded strip?
Yeah, that's hella subjective.
no, I hate the ocean.
Well,
Oh, well, there you go.
hey man, if you're look, I know a couple people who won't even go in the ocean because they're afraid shark is just gonna jump out of nowhere and eat them in a minute.
That is a
Dude,
rational fear, and you should not make fun of them for it.
I've seen plenty of like sci-fi Saturday B movies to know that sharks hang out in the Caribbean. And those
Yeah.
big ones, the prehistoric ones, man.
Chris just watched Sharknado over the
Oh,
weekend.
shark.
Talk
Shark.
about-
Sharknado.
no,
We're making
he-
a second one, man. And Tara
He's
Reid is not
talking
coming
about
back.
Sharkosaurus Rex.
I'm talking about Dino Shark.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sharkosaurus
what was
Rex.
that called?
What about Megalodon?
Megalodon
Those were a
and
real
Yeah.
thing.
Megacroc.
Listen, man, all I'm saying
Shark
is that we know more about space than we do about our own deaths in the ocean, man. There could be things in the Marinara Trench that could be tasty and deadly,
Yeah.
and I don't even want to deal with that.
There's no sharks
That's a
in
bunch
Vegas,
of Bolognese.
except at the card tables, and I'm scared of them too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, just looking at it from an outsider, I mean, I personally wouldn't mind going to the beach, just a beach in general, not St. Martin or whatever. St. Martin does look like a beautiful place to go. Everyone there, once again, seemed like they had a bunch of fun. Seems to have a good nightlife. Seems to have stuff to do just all day, every day. It seems.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, tournament play for the day ending at 6 p.m. If you're just going to party, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Great.
It's bad for the stream.
Yeah.
But
Terrible
it's great. Like this is one of those tournaments I personally think where it doesn't matter if it's a stream. It doesn't have to be streamed. It's one of the tournaments where you go to experience it for yourself. And screw the tournament, you just go for the beach.
But I don't think you should sacrifice the quality of the tournament just to go and party. Like, I think you can do both.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when we were at EVO, we had a great tournament, and we all went out and had fun in the strip. At least I did.
Where were you all, Evo? I think I saw you one day.
Yeah, pretty much what you saw me doing the first day was like the same thing times 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, Chris lost all his money in Vegas.
Totally. I'm working on like $60 here for the next week.
That's great.
Shouldn't let you out of our sight anymore.
Yeah, I know. Next year, I'm definitely just tie me to somebody's like belt buckle or something.
But that's the thing is it comes back to what we were saying earlier. From the people who weren't there, and for the people who can't know, and we can't know because nobody's saying anything, it looked pretty bad.
Mm.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe the people there actually everybody had a great time, and everything is going to be as they claimed it would be. Pots are going to be paid, whole 9 yards. We can't know that because nobody talks about that stuff. And
Well,
there's nobody making people talk about that stuff either in terms of enforcing rules.
Yeah. Like if no one got paid, let's just say hypothetically they don't pay anyone. We're not going to find out for like what, another 5 to 8 months.
Well,
So
I mean, it depends
generally how that-
because, yeah, it depends on when they said, you know, if they were supposed to get paid there or if they're supposed to get like a check in the mail that has to clear, you know,
Mhm.
government and stuff like that. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, and hopefully everyone gets paid out and they get paid the amounts promised to them. It would suck if they didn't, but it would just give more people reason to dislike the tournament, everything.
Sure, they got a contract.
Oh yeah, contracts. Something we all talk about.
See,
So
that's what happens when you get a governing body, because then people, if you want to compete at our tournaments, you got to sign these contracts that releases certain things, and you agree to do certain things and agree not to do certain things, and we agree in turn to pay you all your money in a timely fashion.
Well, I mean, obviously, for anybody who was looking at Twitter yesterday, Markman said something basically trying to start enforcing rules in that Mad Catz is not going to support tournaments anymore that don't enforce the rules. And
That's
honestly,
impossible.
I don't know how you do that, because most tournaments I don't even think have rules against splitting. In fact, I don't think I've actually seen printed out actual tournament rules ever.
Mhm.
Maybe Evo has them somewhere. I mean, I guess Evo probably has them somewhere. But
yeah.
It would just be so easy to, like, because you know how they always say, like, you know, what's allowed in what game and what bracket. They should always just add, like, and pot splitting will get you banned. You know, if we even suspect that you are, you know, colluding with somebody else in the brackets, we are going to, like, throw you out, and you'll never be invited back to another, you know, whatever organization's event again.
Well, what was it? I think last year or 2 years ago they yellow carded Justin for sandbagging, which is
yeah,
technically
it
what
was
most people do in
yeah, they
situations.
yellow carded Justin for losing to Noel at Power Up.
Yeah,
That
was
sounds
power,
right.
Yeah.
When it was really obvious that he threw.
What, you're telling me that On Point Phoenix isn't some new-ish?
Yeah, exactly.
He might have been trying to embarrass him, you know.
But I mean, that was Road to Evo. They had the power to do that. Most events are not Road to Evo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's really nothing
I give
for them
it,
to look
you know,
forward to.
I give it to Mark for trying to sway people toward, you know, doing it the right way, but I feel at this point it's more of an empty gesture that he hopes is going to kick people in the ass.
I mean, it would go like two ways for him, you know. Either like he has to make a judgment call and he looks like a huge asshole, or like the savior, you know.
Yeah, it's very much a polarizing decision.
So I'm not sure if that's the best idea, but he already made it, so he'll work with it. He's a grown man.
And I mean, I do think that if there's any way they can codify this, yeah, I think that Mad Catz putting pressure on people to act right will help. I think as one of the biggest suppliers of equipment and prizes for a lot of things, I think that kind of pressure would affect. And obviously, you know, they pay as sponsors for different events, so that's booths at tournaments, money that, you know, goes into sponsoring an event. That's a lot of weight behind it if you can find a way to qualify that.
Right.
Like, you know, you're going to have to write out, well, what exactly, how do you know? I mean, because obviously, at VXG, it was really obvious that people would throw. But there are plenty of times over the last decade plus that you can't tell. People just play it out because you can just play it out and still split.
And who's mad about that?
I mean, the only reason I haven't won anything recently is because everyone just pays me to lose to them. Gibby's the same way.
People have been paying me to lose them for
totally
years.
gonna use that from now on.
How much money I've been making thanks to all these people just giving it to me so they beat me?
And you
Shit.
still broke.
All
Damn.
the money. I
Yeah,
know.
you don't make that streamer money, you know,
don't
no
make that
tournament organizer
MTV
money.
dog. Don't make that complexity money.
Oh man, you don't make
Speaking
that
of,
UFGT money.
I kind of want to switch gears here. You said the streamer money and everything. People bashing Hans for this.
Ugh.
Believe
I think
that.
that's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Like, none of this is Hans's fault. Like,
I actually saw some comment. Someone just said looks like Hans still doesn't know how to stream. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
I guess someone was saying, I think Nerd Josh was saying that stems from CEO when lightning hit the building, and it like killed the stream and like destroyed some equipment.
And you still
Yeah,
made
that's
it
the only
work.
thing. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, Hans? Why are you aiming the lightning at the building, dude?
He was
What did you
so
do to
pissed,
Zeus
man.
to piss
you,
him off?
You guys don't know when Hans is mad, he can call lightning down.
I see.
You know, and he
that true
fried his
Dark
own
Lord
laptop.
Hans?
Yeah, but like, what did Hans do that was wrong? Hans had to work with what he was given.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, all I saw of VXG was the first day. Hans turns on the stream. It's like, yeah, well, looks like we're gonna have every single match of Marvel on stream because we have like 30 some odd entries. I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I'm not gonna watch any of it, but that's cool. You're having the entire tournament on stream, low numbers, whatever. Hans couldn't control that.
Well,
Then I guess it took 8 to 9 hours to actually run the entire tournament, and people were like, "Oh, that's Hans's fault." Like, why is that Hans's fault? Maybe, well, not maybe. Most likely, the tournament organizers told him, "Take breaks here and there, do this, do that," and yeah, we don't know exactly what went down, but I'm almost positive Hans didn't do anything wrong because Hans is a really good streamer. Saying he doesn't know how to stream is like one of the dumbest goddamn
Yeah,
things
you're
you
just
can
talking
do.
out of your ass.
Yeah. It's like telling me I don't know how to hair. Okay, it's just dumb.
Well, in some places, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
and you got to remember, like, all the times that if anyone's watched a major get streamed, how many times is it you've seen somebody like Level Up or Spooky just have to put out, like tweets just saying, look, we're working with limited this, and this, like limited internet, like running on, 4G cards. I mean, there are so many reasons that a stream can be not the optimal perfect thing that has nothing to do with the streamer.
I mean, I'm sure we've seen events where people are streaming and the stream comes through looking like some guy's idea of retro graphics in an indie game, or like the Atari 2600 blocks versus blocks. Like, I mean, there's been terrible things just for no reason.
Yeah.
And this
And
still
that was
came through.
Marvel.
It was still good. Yeah.
I'm thinking like
and-
bar fights.
Well, and
Yeah.
people talking about like having these huge breaks after every match. I know from hearing about MLG that when fighting games were at MLG, they would purposely they would basically purposely have these big breaks because they had this much time blocked out for the fighting games all day.
Mhm.
So you had to stretch it because you couldn't finish early. It's like you were not allowed to because this was all blocked out ahead of time.
Mhm.
So you would end up with 15, 20-minute breaks between matches and stuff like that.
Like, the only, like, okay, in terms of professional sports, like baseball, basketball, and so on, you don't really see this in any of those sports outside of, like, say, boxing and MMA, where it's one match, and then there's a huge gap in between, and then another match. So it's like, it's one of those things a lot of people still aren't used to, especially, and it's with fighting games, where it's nothing but non-stop. Like, you can turn on a stream, like Evo. Anyone who tuned in to watch Evo, they watch like non-stop matches pretty much.
Yeah.
The only time there'd be any downtimes, like, oh, gotta get players for the next game. Oh, gotta switch systems. Oh, we'll be back really quick. New game.
Yeah, it's wall-to-wall action.
Yeah, and people aren't used to waiting.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, I'll be honest, I don't like it, but whatever. You have to deal with it because that's the stream schedule. You just have
Yeah.
to-
Oh
Just-
man, I'm still thinking about probably the best example of like filling up time was Curly Mustache still with those commercials.
Oh, which ones? You
Like
talking about
the-
the
The
E24 stuff?
E24 stuff, man, that was just like brilliant.
Yeah, the E24 ads are probably some of the best ads I've seen. Those are
You
I
could
was
just-
actually really impressed that they catered ads to fighting gamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, we do know they have fighting game people, or at least one fighting game head within the company because of Twitter
Oh,
account.
okay.
Because whoever it is at E24 seems to know me, Hell Pockets, Southtown Arcade. I play Winter Spooky, Arcade Shock, and so on. They know a bunch of us.
Oh,
And,
yeah, they've got to be somebody who at least, watches.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised when he said, like, my beard and my chest are too manly for him to handle. I was like, whoa!
Actually, that means that guy's got to play Poverty because nobody knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah, exactly. That guy
I'm
is
so
old.
popular. I'm like
What are you talking
Justin
about? He's the
Wong
best
of
in
my house.
NorCal.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He's NorCal's best Cody player.
Wow.
I kill both of you. I'm gonna
But-
stab both of you. Damn it.
But yeah,
Go ahead,
I
go
think
ahead.
that I think that about kind of sums it up.
Yeah, without getting too nasty towards the idiots.
Yeah, I don't think that's something we even need to do. I just think that, just think about what you do and how it affects other people. It's a good rule of thumb. I wish that everybody would start thinking that way.
Yeah, it would be I wouldn't say it would make it a better place automatically, but at least be something to work with.
Yeah. You gotta insert a little Bill and Ted into your life and just be excellent to each other.
Oh. Yeah, we got
It's
to
like
end
just
on
that
that.
golden rule. Treat people the way
Yeah.
you be treated.
But
Yeah.
anybody got anything else?
Hey, Chris, were we going to talk about those shirts?
Oh yes, the shirts. Oh man. So I don't know if anybody sees. Let me see if you pull up that link real quick. Hold on. I gotta search it for that. So like a little bit of an intro. If some of you may know, one of the earliest topics we ever covered on this show was the issue with copyright infringement in the fighting game scene's T-shirt business.
Yeah, it was me, you, Hans, just going nuts.
Oh yeah, I kind of want to get him back on here for that.
He's big time now.
Yeah, I was about to say he's busy.
Mhm.
We can't do it no more. But
We're
even-
nothing to.
It's all right. We got it right here. I'm gonna pull it up on the stream real quick. We got this here shirt that looks a little familiar. It's got a nice little design on it that I can't quite place my finger on where I've seen that before.
It's looking a little like something's missing from that shirt, but I could have sworn I've seen it somewhere before.
Yeah.
It looks like there's some writing that was supposed to be on it somewhere.
Yeah, and they replaced it with some other kind of writing. Let me see if I can blow that up for everybody. GDLK.
Okay, well,
Huh,
I'm not a fan. I gotta say,
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure exactly what the artist was trying to convey by putting the I won't say it on stream because it's gross, but he put the spray on the black shirt, and yeah. It's not
Hold
the
on,
best.
hold on. All right. I've done some quick Google foo here, some research. All right, so check this
All right.
out. All right, some detective work. So it says the King Scar. Now, what does it say on the back, Chris? Could you click that little picture there on the bottom for me?
It is the king, and it's got a tiger.
Okay, so it's the king and the tiger. Now,
Uh-huh.
what character do we know that would be referencing fighting games that is both a self-proclaimed king and repeatedly says the word tiger?
Joe Higashi.
Maybe, but that's a good guess. That's really in the direction I'm going for. I'm thinking maybe Sagat, who has
Sagat.
a scar, and this is the king scar. Now, I was thinking this was 100% correct, but you will notice, in fact, that the scar is pointing in the wrong direction
So
because Sagat's eye patch is on the right, and the scar angles upwards towards it. So this goes towards the left, which means it's a completely different character, and I'm at a loss now.
Which
I'm
means
sorry.
he
I
was
thought I had
dragon
it.
punch-
I
he
thought
was-
I had it.
He was dragon punched by a lefty.
Southpaw.
And we know for a fact Ryu is not a southpaw.
No, he is not. Right hand through and through.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna throw this whole thing out because I thought I had it there, but obviously the scar's in the wrong direction, so it's something different.
Well,
So that means what we thought we saw in this isn't what we really saw.
yeah,
No,
'cause
it's not.
It's not the same. It's not Sagat's
You know,
scar.
you
'cause,
guys are just wasting everybody's time with these
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Well, okay. Anyway, it looks almost identical to a broken tier shirt, and also people are bringing up in chat right now. The line looks just like one of the Mad Cat scratches.
That kind of does.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was like, Well,
So,
Yep.
I'm glad we were able to do that, though. It's been a while since we've blown up some creativity. lacking,
creativity.
well, obviously, this guy had to get some crazy. Like, how can I, alter this just enough that it does not look like the Mad Cat shirt or the Coogie shirt or.
I think no, the whole thing. It's pointing in the wrong direction. That's how they got around it.
That's how they
It's
got around,
obviously
right?
a completely different Kings, completely different Scar.
Dude, it's like
Think about it.
It's like
If you did a similarity search on Google, you wouldn't get the tiger shirt.
It
I
would
mean,
be actually
it's
interesting to see if the spray is the exact same pattern.
See,
That
what
would
they
be
were going
bad.
for is that Sagat is a king from Thailand, where this is actually a Scar pointing in the other direction, which is different, and it's actually the king in I, so he's the king in Siam, so it's something completely different.
But remember,
It's
Well,
out
just
there,
see, here's my problem with all this. So the scar is pointing in the other direction, but Thailand is still in the northern hemisphere.
which means the toilet flushes clockwise.
Yeah, so it should be in the same direction as the regular scar. I think what they're trying to do is they said the shirts were made in the southern hemisphere, and then they brought it here. So that's probably it's. You know what? Screw these people. My friend Coogie. I don't.
Yes.
Coogie, Broken Tear, do an amazing job. Once again,
It'd be a
original.
more amazing job if he had more Guilty Gear stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I gotta
Oh,
say,
yeah.
my favorite shirts of his are the Guilty Gear shirts.
hmm
No, that-
And I think that's just because he's got so much love for Guilty Gear. He puts the most effort into those shirts.
Comes from
and I'd love to give him shit about it.
No, I agree. I still want a fitted Broken Tier cap with their logo on it. That's all I ask for. Coogie's a great guy. Broken Tier, great company. Like I said last week, everyone really should shop with Broken Tier. They're good people. They take care of the scene. They take care of everyone.
Take care of me.
Yeah, they took.
That's-
Yeah, once again, they took care of Sanchez, Knock, and Walkman. Good people, good clothing, good art. Follow them on the Twitters, like them on the Facebooks. You see Cookie at a tournament, give him a high five.
Chris, could you do me a favor?
What's up?
Go to the other shirt that they have. I haven't looked
Oh
at this
my
yet, but this is.
There's another shirt. Hold
I'm
on.
fucking done. I'm done, man.
Let me see. Where's this other shirt at?
So just go to
The zombie bit me.
no, not that one. There's one that says clutch.
One that says, what's it under?
Just click the left thing again. The one that's already
Yeah.
highlighted.
Ooh, 5950 Broken Tier would be nice, but I think
King Scar,
5950
King Scar.
hats would be too expensive.
I don't see one that says clutch.
Look, Chris, this is too hard for Chris.
Here,
So
I'll
that's
just
the
give
one
you
that
a
was
link.
already highlighted.
Here.
No,
here,
no.
here. I'll make this as baby easy for you as possible. Here's some Gerber. Just click it.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but like the
jackass.
lack of originality in the scene is kind of bad, especially when it comes to the shirt companies. Because I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this. There have been other companies that have just blatantly completely ripped off Broken Tier,
Oh my god.
and it's pretty. I can't even.
Evo moment 37.
Oh.
You had to buy this shirt. Oh my god.
All right,
It's
just
just-
shut off my screen. It's ugly.
Selling
Yeah,
my
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, the
memories.
shirt's ugly.
I'm pretty sure this is very familiar to a shirt we've also seen from Broken Tier. Just zoomed out a bit, perhaps? I don't know.
Anyway, now that you gentlemen are done having your fun,
I don't even know why it says clutch. It has nothing to do with car racing. I'm really confused.
Doesn't this go back to the original argument when talking about horsehead for president, in the sense that just because someone said something in the community doesn't mean that you should take or monetize it, especially when things exist that already do such a thing.
Is
Yo,
Horsehead
when's
still a
Marvel?
thing?
When's Marvel?
When's Marvel? When's Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like,
Anyway.
I'm sure that 50% of what me and Alex say on this show could be put on T-shirts.
I want marinara trench on a shirt. I don't know about you guys.
It's gonna look like
Trench of
it's
sauce.
gonna look like the Sagat scar.
No, dude,
Just
I want-
vertical.
No, here's my idea. It's the marinara trench, right? But it's a submarine that is also a mozzarella stick diving into it.
Okay, I think we're done on that one.
Oh my god. Take
Yeah,
us
we're
home.
good. Join us
Skullgirls
next week.
PC comes out
That's it.
22nd. Go buy it.
Martian Manhunter comes out tomorrow. Should be
Also,
cool.
donate to Yatagarasu and get some of those sweet
Yeah.
extras.
Get up to GGPO, please. I beg of you.
Yeah, this current net code or the net thing is not working. No.
Go play some poverty games. They're actually a lot more fun than you think.
Yeah.
Play some Breakers 98.
Yeah.
Also, tune in next week. We may or may not have Arcade Shock Reynolds on. I don't know yet.
We're planning on it.
Yeah,
Hoping he doesn't flake on us.
something like that. Yeah, sure.
That's all.
All right,
Aw.
guys. So for everybody here at Super Desperation Radio, I am Super FX. So good night and good luck.
Party on.